Doesn't make noise anymore?
No,
Yeah.
it didn't the first time I was there. I haven't heard anything about it.
Yeah, I
I feel like you're getting the radiation.
Okay.
But I forgot her name. She had a variance.
Yeah, yeah.
She was interested. I thought I could put her resume, but I haven't heard anything about her. I have no idea.
Did you get the knock?
Good to go.
Okay, welcome everybody. My name is Rob Shaw. I'm the Vice Chair of the City of Nashua Zoning Board of Adjustment, and this is the February 13th, 2024 Zoning Board meeting. This evening's meeting will be conducted in a standard format. We used to be using Zoom until very recently, so I had to skip a little bit of things. So we are, of course, holding this meeting in person here on the third floor auditorium of City Hall. Minutes of tonight's meeting, as well as audio and video recordings, will be available later at nashuanh.gov/agenda center and select Zoning Board of Adjustment. The chair is in control of the proceedings and calls upon all who wish to speak in order as their raised hands are observed. The board follows the meeting protocols and procedures that are outlined in our bylaws. The applicant has up to 15 minutes to present their case, followed by questions from the board. Next, any persons wishing to speak in favor have an opportunity for up to 5 minutes, and then we'll seek out anybody that has questions, concerns, or opposition to the application, and they'll have up to 5 minutes. If there are questions or opposition, the applicant will then have a 5-minute rebuttal response time period, and then finally, one and only one person from those that had expressed questions or opposition will be permitted to speak again. And if that happens, we can help guide folks through that as far as the logistics. We do have a timer that we use to manage speaking time. Mr. Falk will just be doing that here on his phone and letting us know if we're coming up against any of those time periods. Let's see. Tonight we will be hearing special exceptions and variances. So I will talk a little bit about each of those. And those are basically the two primary categories that this board covers, which are the deviations from our Nashua zoning code. A special exception is a request that seeks permission to do something that the zoning ordinance permits only under special circumstances. To grant a special exception, 5 points of law are required to be met, and these are outlined in the application and will be summarized in board motions. Meanwhile, a variance is a request that seeks permission to do something that the ordinance does not directly or readily permit. Variances also have 5 points of law to be met, but these are different than those for special exceptions. Per the City of Nashua bylaws and the State of New Hampshire revised statutes, a minimum of 3 or more affirmative votes are required to approve any application. In addition, this board will hear all scheduled cases if a quorum of 3 voting board members is present at this meeting. You'll see we actually have 6 of us present tonight, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later. Meanwhile, any citizen has the right to contest a decision that this board makes. Should we render a decision that you believe is in error, you have the right to request a rehearing. A written rehearing request must be received by the City of Nashua Planning Department within 30 calendar days from the date of decision. Should this board not grant a rehearing request, you can still file an appeal directly to the New Hampshire Superior Court. Please contact Mr. Falk of the Planning Department for more information on that process if you will ultimately have any questions about that. For this meeting, we have the following full board members in attendance. Myself, the vice chair. Again, my name is Rob Shaw. Mr. J.B. Boucher, our clerk, Mr. Jay Mankara, and Mr. Steve Lionel, as well as alternate members Stafia Boras and Josh Nahili. And then in addition to board members, we also have Mr. Carter Falk, who is our deputy planning manager with the City of Nashua. I'll start the meeting by taking a roll call attendance. Mr. Boucher?
Mr. Boucher is present.
Mr. Lionel?
Present.
Mr. Minkara?
Present.
Ms. Boras?
Present.
Mr. Neely?
Present.
And myself, Rob Shaw, I am present. So we will have, because 4 of us are full-time members of this board currently, and 2 are alternate members. What we do normally is anytime we have alternate members in attendance, they participate fully with, as far as hearing the case, asking questions and that part of things. The only thing that they don't do is participate in all the votes. So all 4 of the full-time members will participate in all votes, and then we'll alternate between Mr. Neely and Ms. Boras for the other cases. And I'll just plan on going, starting with Mr. Neely and then Ms. Boras, and we'll just alternate back and forth. Mr. Falca, are there any changes to tonight's agenda?
No, there are not.
All right. And just also, if, just a general kind of reminder, first of all, the acoustics in this auditorium are actually very good, so we ask to refrain from any conversations in the audience, because you can actually easily, that sound easily carries up here. And then also, just if you have a cell phone, which almost everybody does, if you could put that in silent or vibrate mode, that would be helpful as well. I will go ahead and read the first case into the record. It is owner Heather Walsh and Derek Mason at 19 Eastbrook Drive, Sheet A, Lot 665. The request is for a special exception from Land Use Code Section 190-15, Table 15-1, Item Number 3, to convert the portion of a basement into an accessory parentheses in-law dwelling unit. This is in the R9 zone in Ward 7. Is there someone here to present this application? Step up to the microphone. One thing I didn't state also, just logistically, I'll probably remind folks as you go forward, but we just ask that everybody, when they do come up to the microphone, state their name and address for the record. And also another thing, just generally, all of our communications here have to be into microphone because of the recording. So just if anybody has questions from the audience, we need to make sure that actually anything happens at the podium. But so welcome. Please state your name and address for the record.
Derek Mason, 19 Eastbrook Drive,
All right,
Nashua.
welcome.
Just applying to add a kitchen to an existing area, kitchenette, to make it a ADU. It already has a bedroom, a bathroom, and a large living area. Just converting some of that living area to a little kitchenette for my mother. So.
It seems like a pretty straightforward case.
Yes.
So one thing I'm assuming you're already aware of is there are the accessory dwelling unit kind of special criteria.
Yes.
And you can testify that you meet all of those criteria?
Yes.
Okay.
We've spoken to contractors and,
Okay, great.
yeah.
All right. Does the board have any questions? Mr. McCarr?
I couldn't really tell from the floor plan that was attached, but could you describe how the ADU is connected to the principal dwelling?
Okay, so it was the original house. There was an addition built 20 years ago, and off the back of the basement area, it's a split. So off the back, upstairs they added a great room, and downstairs off the back that's the living area.
So how is there a doorway that connects the ADU to the principal dwelling?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean, how does that work? Do you go down the stairs?
Nope.
or-
You walk in through the garage, and there's a doorway, and then you'll walk right into the ADU.
Okay.
Does that count?
Yeah, it's all interior. As long as you can walk from the main portion of the house into the ADU without
Yes.
a locked door. That's
Yes.
fine. All inside.
Yes.
Any other questions from the board? Okay, thank you. You can have a seat.
All right, thank you.
Is there anybody else who would like to speak in favor of this first case at 19 Eastbrook Drive? Is there anybody with questions, concerns, or opposition? Okay, seeing none, I'll close the public hearing and open the public meeting. I guess we'll just kind of go around the room. Mr. Makara, your thoughts?
I support the application. I think it meets the criteria. I was kind of hard to tell from the application materials. There's really not a lot there, but from the verbal testimony, from what's written, it seems to meet all the criteria, so I support it.
All right, thank you. Ms. Boras?
I also support it. The application is submitted.
All right, thank you. Mr. Neely?
I also support the application. There's no exterior work going to happen, more than enough parking. All the paperwork is properly signed, so I'm in favor of this.
Mr. Lionel?
I'm in support.
Mr. Boucher?
I'm also in support for all the reasons spoken to.
And likewise, I am. I think this is, again, a very straightforward case, and, yeah, I think it meets all the criteria. So would anybody like to make a motion for this application? Mr. Lionel?
Like to make a motion on behalf of the owners Heather Walsh and Derek Mason, address 19 Eastbrook Drive, Sheet A, Lot 665, requesting special exception from Land Use Code Section 190-15, Table 15-1, Number 3, to convert portion of a basement into an accessory dwelling unit. This is in the R9 Zone, Ward 7. The board finds that this is listed in the table of uses. We have no evidence that it will create undue traffic congestion or unduly impair pedestrian safety, that it will not overload public water, drainage, or sewer or other municipal systems. Special regulations are fulfilled by testimony of the applicant, and the board believes it will not impair integrity or be out of character with the neighborhood or be detrimental to the health, morals, or welfare of residents. Therefore, I make a motion to approve the special exception.
Mr. Neely seconds that. Any discussion from the board? All right. We can actually just go to, we don't have to do the roll call vote now. I mean, I know we're so used to doing that unless folks prefer to do that.
How do we do it before? What,
We
raise
just would do a
hands?
show
or-
of hands, yeah.
Yeah.
So all in favor and, so I think it's like old times, so.
Okay. It's been so long, I don't
Yeah,
remember.
I know, it's been basically four years, so all in favor? And that's unanimous. Yeah, Ms. Morris, your action, I voted, but yeah. So, and obviously not opposed, so, sir, your application's been approved. And this is a common caution we provide, but, I mentioned about that rehearing request possibility. You're welcome to proceed with your effort here. Just beware that if somebody would file a rehearing request, then you would potentially have to stop until that was resolved. But otherwise, definitely please feel free to go forward, and you can always contact Mr. Falk if you have any questions. Good luck. All right, so that takes care of case one, and then this case, Ms. Boras will be our voting member, and Mr. Neely will just be participating otherwise. Oh, yeah, and nobody has to stay, once you're welcome to, but you definitely don't need to.
If you stay, we'll put you on the board.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good night. The second case, owner, the Horton Bishop 2023 Trust, Sarah Bishop and George Horton, owners, Chris Cahill Construction, the applicant, at 12 Hampton Drive, Sheet F, Lot 599. The request is for variance from Land Use Code Section 190-16, Table 16-3, to encroach 16 feet into the 30-foot required rear yard setback to construct an attached 16-foot by 22-foot one-story home addition. This is in the R18, R9 cluster zone, Ward 1. Is there somebody here to speak on behalf of this application? Again, welcome. State your name and address for the record.
Sure. Chris Cahill, 71 Main Street, Hollis, New
Feel
Hampshire.
free to, raise the whole thing up, yeah. That's, and,
So,
you- and
Chris-
that does release if you'd rather hold it. Most
Yeah,
people don't want to,
all
but just
good,
that is
yeah,
an option.
Thanks. Chris Cahill, 71 Main Street, Hollis, New Hampshire is my address. I'm here on behalf of Sarah Bishop and George Horton. They weren't able to make the meeting, so.
Okay.
I'm here for them. So our request is to encroach 16 feet on a rear setback for a primary bedroom, updating the house, which is, hasn't had any renovations, so we're kind of going through the process of updating and giving them a little more living space. The rear addition abuts common area land, so there's neighbors on each side, but no neighbors in the back. It's a wooded area, a lot of acreage of wooded area. Not that the addition wouldn't be visible from the road, and that's about it.
All right, does the board have questions? Mr. McCarthy?
In reading the plans, am I right in that it wouldn't be possible to add an addition of any size to the rear without encroaching in the setback?
It would be very, very tight. It might be 8 inches.
Got it.
It's like right on.
I thought I was reading it correctly, but I just wanted to be sure. Thank you.
Yeah.
I have just a clarification on the plan. It looks like this is just a single-story addition with just like maybe storage space at
Storage under,
most,
that's
under,
correct,
kind
yeah.
of basement level?
Yeah, unfinished area below.
Any other questions from the board? See none, you're welcome to have a seat. And, is there anybody here in the audience with, that would like to speak in support of this application? We did have one letter of support. I actually thought, did we have two? Or did we, I think maybe you and Karina both. Yeah, I think that's what it, yeah. So we do have a letter of support from Jeffrey Myers at 10 Hampton Drive, like I said, in support. He's the immediate next-door neighbor, full support as planned, believes this will add to beautification of the neighborhood, will be visually appealing, noting this is one of the smaller homes, bringing it into a size consistent with the rest of the neighborhood, and is, like I said, in support. So we have that as well from the immediate next-door neighbor. Is there anybody here to speak with questions, concerns, or opposition regarding this application? Okay, seeing none, I will close the public hearing and open the public meeting on this case for 12 Hampton Drive. Ms. Boras, your thoughts?
I'm in support of the application.
All right, thank you. Mr. Neely?
I'm also in favor of the application. You know, as testified, there's no rear neighbor. It's up against common land. Nobody here to testify against it. It's certainly in character of the neighborhood. In fact, when I look at the overhead of the neighborhood, there's quite a few other houses that have similar additions. So really, this is quite in the same vein. So for those reasons, I'm in favor.
Mr. Ironman?
I'm also in favor.
Mr. Boucher?
I'm also in favor.
And I likewise am. I'm sorry, Mr. McCarthy.
Yeah, I'm in favor as well, and I would just add that, you know, I think the proposed addition is reasonable, what they're looking to do, walk and shower, first floor laundry. I don't want to suppose for what anyone's intentions are, but it looks as though this is well set up to allow somebody to age in place. I think it's certainly something to encourage.
Yeah, and I was just, the other thing I was going to echo is just your question, because it, you know, it was pretty clear to me also, it's like there's no space to go out, and many of the other homes also have, I think, that encroachment into this currently defined setback. So all in all, between the limitations of the property as well as consistency with what they're doing, this will be, you know, I think very consistent with the neighborhood. So would somebody like to make a motion? Mr. McCarthy, thank you.
I'll make a motion that the application of Horton Bishop 2023 Trust, Sarah Bishop and George Horton, owners, Chris Cahill Construction applicant at 12 Hampton Drive, Sheet F, Lot 599, for a variance from Land Use Code Section 190-16, Table 16-3, to encroach 16 feet into the 30-foot required rear setback to construct an attached 16 by 22 one-story home addition be approved. We find that the variance is needed to enable the applicant's proposed use of the property, given the special conditions of the property, and that the benefit cannot be sought by or achieved by some other method reasonably feasible. We find this because, first of all, just due to how far back the home is on the lot, there is no possible way they could expand the home, and that the use that is proposed is a reasonable one, that there are a number of other homes in the area that also encroach, and also that the property behind them is common open space. We find that it is within the spirit and the intent of the ordinance because, again, it is a reasonable use of property that's proposed, and it allows the owners to enjoy modern amenities that have become more and more expected. It will not adversely affect the property values of surrounding parcels. We've had no evidence submitted that it would, and we have in fact had a letter of support from at least one of the neighbors. It would not be contrary to the public interest, and substantial justice would be done to allow the owners the full use and enjoyment of their property.
Is there a second? Ms. Boras, thank you. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor? Mr. McCarr, how do you vote? Okay, that's unanimous, 5-0. So similar kind of guidance as before. The application has been approved. There is a 30-day window for a rehearing request, but you can definitely move forward, and hopefully good luck with the project. Yep. All right, and that will quickly take us to the public hearing for case number 3. Owner is Roeli Diesla at 68 Palm Street, sheet 84, lot 113. The request is for a variance from Land Use Code Section 190-16, Table 16-3 for minimum land area, 3,484 square feet existing, 6,970 square feet required to convert existing single-family home into a two-family home. This is in the RC zone, Ward 4. Welcome. Please state your name and address for the record.
Hi, how you doing? My name is Roeli Diesla. Address 68 Palm Street, Nashua, New Hampshire. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make my single family into a multifamily. Main reason why I'm doing this is because I'm trying to ensure my mortgage payment and taxes as well, and I'm not doing any addition in the house, like, I mean, outside the house or anything like that. Everything that I'm doing is inside, so pretty much I'm separating the first floor to the second floor. That should be it.
All right. Does the board have question? Mr. Lionel?
Yeah. How many parking spaces do you currently have available?
Five in the garage.
5? You have 5 spaces plus a garage?
Yeah, no, 4 plus garage.
Oh, 4 plus a garage.
Yes.
That's, I believe that's sufficient.
Need two per unit.
2, yeah, okay. So,
Any other questions from the board? I'm curious, do you know if the property, I'm assuming, well, I should ask, have you owned the property very long?
3 years,
Okay.
roughly.
Do you know if the property was used for, like, as a duplex at all in the past, or?
No,
Okay.
not really.
Okay. All right. I think, it looks like we don't have any other questions, so I guess you
All
can
right.
have a seat.
All
Thank you. And seeing that we have nobody else in the audience, we clearly don't have any other testimony from anybody else, so we'll just close the public hearing. Yeah, you can sit down. Thank you. And open the public meeting. Mr. Neely, your thoughts? And again, you'll be the voting member on this case.
Sure. Yeah, I'm in support of this application. This is certainly in character with the neighborhood. There's going to be no exterior changes. There's enough parking for what he's trying to do. The square footage is, it looks like 1,300 and 880, so they're not small apartments either. So certainly adds into the necessary housing stock we're looking for. So for those reasons, I'm in favor of this application.
Okay. Mr. Lionel?
I'm in support for the same reasons Mr. Neely stated.
Mr. Boucher?
I'm also in support of the application. We'll note that, again, as Mr. Neely mentioned, that there is a lot of multi-type usage in the neighborhood. Specifically, next door is a two-family, a couple doors down, across the street, and then there's some larger properties. There's only two single families that I recognized. And again, I think again, plenty of off-street parking, so I think it's a reasonable use for this area. So I'm going to support the application.
Your thoughts, Mr. Minkara?
I would agree. I support the application for all the reasons stated.
And Ms. Flores?
I also support for all the reasons stated.
And I would just echo the same thing. I find support for the application. Would somebody like to make a motion? Okay. Mr. Lionel, thank you.
I'd like to make a motion on behalf of Rauli Disla, address 68 Palm Street, sheet 84, lot 113, requesting variance from Land Use Code Section 190-16, Table 16.3, for a minimum land area 3,484 square feet existing, 6,970 square feet required, to convert a existing single-family home into a two-family home. This is in the RC Zone, Ward 4. The board finds that this variance is needed to enable the applicant's proposed use of the property. Given the special conditions of the property, there's no way to do this other than anything reasonably feasible other than the variance. The board believes this is within spirit and intent of the ordinance. It will not adversely affect the property values of surrounding parcels. There's a lot of multifamily homes already in that area. The board believes it is not contrary to public interest and substantial justice would be served. So I make a motion to approve the area variance.
Thank you. A second. Mr. Minkara, thank you. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor? And that passes unanimously, 5-0. Same thing as I've said to others earlier, but you can definitely proceed with your project, and just beware that 30-day window of appeal is open for this, next month, roughly. But if you have any questions, obviously, contact Mr. Falk. Good luck with your work. Thank you, you too. All right, that takes care of the cases before us. We have, I think, the agenda for the February 26th meeting. Is that, yeah, February 27th, yeah. Does everybody, I know we got this emailed to us already ahead. I know I did not see any regional impact concerns. Did anybody else?
I did not.
I think we can consider that taken care of. We have no rehearing requests. I think the only thing we really have to consider, and I'm going to put Mr. Neely on the spot in the sense of, since hopefully you'll become a full-time member in a matter of minutes, perhaps, or at least within an hour or whatever. We normally have tried to wait till our first meeting each year when we have full-time member board attendance. I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, Mr. Lionel will not be at our next meeting.
That's correct.
So my question to you, Mr. Neely, is if you either have any interest in participating in one of the officer roles or feel like you would like to definitely participate in the vote for the officer roles, we can choose whether we just hold as we are right now or just go ahead and try to proceed with officers for the current year.
So I'm amenable to whatever the rest of the board wants to do. I know Mr. Lionel's not going to be here. I support the decision of the rest of the board, and I certainly do not want to stand in the way of moving us along here, if necessary.
Others' thoughts? I'm fine either way personally, but it'd be nice to just kind of get it settled. But,
Yeah, I think we should just go ahead and do it.
Okay. All right. So I guess I'll ask if anybody's interested in the role of chair, vice chair, or secretary for this year.
I'm willing to do vice chair.
Okay.
I'm willing to serve wherever I am. I've been everything, so
Yeah. Likewise.
I know this is maybe not the most popular role here, but I'm fine with it. If I'd be more than happy to serve in the chair role if that's the case, but it doesn't matter to me.
Okay. Mr. McCarr, are you interested in maybe
I-
doing something
I
like
would-
secretary or anything? at this
I would
point?
rather not be chair, and I fear being secretary, just because of my time constraints, but obviously, I wouldn't want to leave a hole.
Yeah.
But I'd rather, not be chair.
So the question would be, again, I don't know if you have any interest in being chair again?
I'm okay with being chair with, just the understanding that because of travel schedules and stuff that, it might be relying on Mr. Lionel to,
Yeah.
but I think between us, most of the time, one of us is here. anyhow,
Usually
so-
one of us is here. I mean, I'm also traveling quite a bit this year, but,
Yeah.
which is
So-
why I didn't put myself up for chair, so.
And I know, we know you can easily step in if we need you. So I'd be fine just being chair right now, but knowing that, it's not like I feel like I can say, oh, I know I'll be here for the next, whatever, 20 meetings we have for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
whatever it is, so.
It seems to work.
Okay. Would somebody like to make a motion to that effect of the officers, or I can?
Move the slate?
Yeah.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, so it's for myself as chair, Mr. Lionel as vice chair, and Mr. Boucher as clerk. All right.
There's a second.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second, Mr. Lionel. And then, all in favor? It's just the four of us voting on this, it's full, yeah. So that passes unanimously.
So, congratulations, everybody.
All right. Thank you.
New positions for the year. The only thing else we had.
I'm going to appeal to the Supreme Court.
You got to go to Superior Court first.
The only other action would be the minutes.
Any minutes?
Oh, yeah,
I
thank you.
did look at the minutes. I didn't see any
January
problems.
Yeah, I skipped over that, didn't I? Thank you for the reminder. I didn't see anything with the minutes. Did anybody find anything of concern?
Yeah. Make a motion to approve the minutes?
Will Ms. Wallace vote on this?
Yeah, Ms. Flores did. So is there a second? Mr. McGrath, thank you. Any discussion? All in favor? Ms. Morris, you're voting?
I don't know, you got me all confused.
Yeah, no, that's all right. I
Don't
know
vote
that-
anyways, I
Yeah.
don't know.
That passes unanimously 5-0.
Just
All right,
saying.
thank you.
Sorry.
Does that make you laugh? At least I'm voting.
All right.
Okay, raise your-
I think that's
Yeah,
it.
just scan it.
Move to adjourn at 7:02.
Please, that was so quick.
Okay.